Imagine you're playing pickup basketball, you go up for a layup, and suddenly, the floor introduces itself to your face. That moment, the one where everything gets blurry and someone asks how many fingers they're holding up, and you genuinely have no idea. That moment might actually be worth a lot more money than you think. A concussion is basically your brain doing a chaotic little shake inside your skull, like a snow globe someone threw at a wall. It's not just a headache. A traumatic brain injury, or TBI, can mess with your memory, your mood, your sleep, and your ability to function for months or even years after the hit. Here's the thing most people get wrong. They walk it off, go home, take some ibuprofen, and call it a day. But if someone else's negligence caused that injury, whether it's a reckless player, a poorly maintained field, or a coach who pushed you back in way too soon, you might have a real legal claim sitting right there on the table. Sports injury law sits in this wild intersection of personal injury law and something called assumption of risk. When you sign up to play football or hockey, or even recreational soccer, you're basically agreeing that some contact is part of the deal. But you are not agreeing to let someone rearrange your brain with zero accountability. Here's where a personal injury lawyer comes in, like your own real-life Harvey Specter, minus the expensive suits. Well, maybe with the suits. Their job is to figure out whether your brain injury was the result of normal gameplay or something that crossed the legal line into genuine negligence. One of the first things a lawyer will ask you is whether there's documentation of the injury. That means medical records, emergency room visits, neurologist reports. Basically a paper trail that says yes, this brain got bonked and here is the proof. Because showing up to court with just a vibe and a headache is not a winning strategy. The next big question is, who is actually responsible? And this is where it gets genuinely interesting. Liability can fall on another player, a league organization, a school, a coach, or even the company that made the defective helmet that was supposed to protect you. There's a legal concept called product liability that goes after equipment manufacturers when their gear fails to do its one job. If your certified expensive helmet cracked open like a walnut at a perfectly normal impact, that helmet company may owe you a serious conversation. And by conversation, we mean compensation. Timing matters way more than people realize, and this is the part where procrastination can literally cost you everything. Every state has what's called a statute of limitations, a deadline to file your claim. And in many states that window is as short as 2 years from the date of the injury. Calculating damages for a TBI is not like adding up a grocery bill. It's complicated, layered, and deeply personal. Lawyers and medical experts will look at things like lost wages, future medical care, cognitive therapy, emotional suffering, and even what courts call loss of enjoyment of life, which is honestly a devastating phrase, but an incredibly important one. Youth sports add a whole extra layer of complexity because minors can't legally file claims on their own, and schools and leagues often have protections that make it harder to sue them. But harder does not mean impossible, and a good attorney knows exactly which doors to knock on, even when they look locked. You don't have to prove you'll never recover. You just have to prove the injury happened. Someone else bears responsibility. And it has genuinely changed your life in measurable ways. Think of it like building a puzzle, and your lawyer's job is to collect every single piece before the other side tries to hide them. One thing injury lawyers tell clients that people almost never actually do: stop posting about your case on social media. Nothing sinks a brain injury claim faster than a photo of you at a weekend barbecue, looking completely fine 3 weeks after you told a doctor you could barely get out of bed. The settlement process for TBI cases can take anywhere from a few months to a few years depending on complexity, and most cases actually never see the inside of a courtroom. Insurance companies often prefer to settle quietly, which sounds convenient but also means having a skilled attorney in your corner so you don't walk away with a fraction of what you actually deserve. If any of this feels relevant to you or someone you know, would you like to learn more about our company and what we can do for you? Because our links are right there in the description waiting for you.